August of 2001, as an elected member of the Restoration Advisory Board of the Hunters Point Shipyard, I founded the radiological subcommittee of the RAB. And some of you might remember that in 2007, I made history in San Francisco. I was the first African American woman to run citywide for mayor, and I ran against Gavin Newsom, and it was a landslide. He got all the votes, but everyone thought I was the smartest candidate in the race. But let me tell you a little bit about Gavin Newsom. One of my greatest hits in the SF Bayview, where I'm the environmental science editor, is called Singing in the Rain. Hunters Point Shipyard enriches San Francisco's most powerful families, and I can send you a copy of that. But there is a government code, California Government Code Section 81002. It says no public official at any level of state or local government shall participate in making or in any way attempt to use his official position to influence a government decision in which he knows or has reason to know he has a financial interest. And that is the law that existed in January of 2005 when then Mayor Gavin Newsom signed the conveyance agreement for the Hunters Point Shipyard. He had presented the 14-item legislative packet to the Board of Supervisors. His cousin, Lawrence Pelosi, who had also been his campaign manager, was Lennar's Vice President of Naval Base Acquisitions in 2004. The SF Bayview confirmed that in an email, and in May of 2004, Gavin Newsom's cousin, Lawrence Pelosi, left that position. Lawrence Pelosi is related by marriage to Nancy Pelosi, as is Gavin Newsom. So that's called nepotism, by the way. That you can find that definition in Webster's dictionary. One of the things that brings us by karma back to today is the fact that in 2004, after a conveyance agreement had been signed in Washington, D.C. with the Secretary of the Navy and Willie Brown and Nancy Pelosi and Gavin Newsom, the Radiological Affairs Office of the United States Navy sent a letter to Gavin Newsom saying, hey, we have concerns about the safety of this property because a document that I contributed to called the Historical Radiological Assessment documented that the Hunters Point Shipyard was radiologically impacted, including areas where we now have residential housing and where recently a radioactive dial, a radium dial, was discovered. In the spring of this year, I directed a letter to seated Governor Jerry Brown, emphasizing to him that we were dealing now with a statewide crisis, because in addition to the the fraudulent soil samples, the 28 buildings, the radium dial, the storm drain sewer systems and steam lines, we have evidence that Treasure Island is radiologically impacted, and many of you know that radioactive soil that had cesium-137 was trucked out of the shipyard and sent to an unauthorized landfill, Keller landfill near Pittsburgh in Contra Costa County. So we have a statewide issue before us now, and I, as a medical doctor, feel that we are dealing with a public health emergency. So I want to make sure that the public is aware that Gavin Newsom plays a direct role in what we are dealing with now, not only at the Hunters Point Shipyard, but at Treasure Island, where he also had documented conflicts of interest via a representative, Darius Anderson, on the Treasure Island Development Commission, who funded a fundraiser for him to help him retire his campaign debt. And again, in an act of pure karma, we have it coming back to him, and we want him to address this issue as a candidate, and certainly as governor, it will be important for him to take positions that are not influenced by family, that are not influenced by politics, that are not influenced by corruption, that are not influenced by his conflicts of interest. It is time for Gavin Newsom to step up to the plate and protect human health and the environment. Thank you very, very much.